Hello and welcome. I'm Annette Reeder from the biblicalnutritionist.com, and I get to serve you God's recipe for excellent health. And today we're talking about grain mills, specifically the very best ones for you to purchase. Now, I know you might be thinking, Annette, a grain mill, that sounds like a lot of work. Now, I want you to stay with me because this connects directly to the principles that I already teach about eating the foods God called good, and principle number two, eating the food before it's been turned into a lab experiment. And that both of those relate to bread and grain. But here's the truth. God designed grain to be whole. The bran, the germ, and the endosperm, all three working together exactly as the way God created it. But when that grain is processed into commercial white flour, those precious nutrients are stripped away. And then, if you're lucky, you may get a few synthetic vitamins sprayed back in. Man always imitates and manipulates. God creates and blesses. So remember, this is not a coincidence. What man is doing is a problem. Now here's the beautiful part. Milling your own grain brings you back to what God intended. People in the Bible, they ground their grain every single day. It wasn't a trend. It was a way that they lived, the way that they ate, the way that they nourished their families. And we get to do the same today. Now, no, I don't mill grain every day, but when I want delicious, nutritious, mouth-satisfying flour, I always will. So let me show you exactly which mills are worth your money and which ones aren't, starting with the best value options for everyday home bakers. And then I'm going to go into what is the very best in the entire world when it comes to grain mills. To keep this review honest and helpful, I'm making the mills into two different categories. And not all mills that I'm reviewing are displayed here on my counter. In fact, mills are hard to come by today. So I have these on display, but I have others that I'm going to talk about. Category number one, best overall grain mills. Now this is based on craftsmanship, the stone quality, the longevity, and the purest, most flavorful flour possible. And I'll be taking you on a journey up a ladder in this category, from the serious home milling all the way up to the absolute pinnacle, the very best grain mill in the entire world. This one's going to be fun. Now, category number two is the best mills for everyday home bakers, based on performance, price, speed, and usability. And in this category, I also want to mention one mill that you should be aware of and why it didn't make my recommended list. Now, the right mill for you depends on where you are in your health journey, and I want to help you find that correct mill for you today. So I'm going to start with category number two. This is about the best value, speed, and price. So whether you're just beginning your whole grain journey or you've been baking for years, these mills represent the best value. They also represent performance and reliability for just the everyday home baking. And this is exactly where I started. And I want you to know that any one of my recommended mills in this category is going to transform the way you nourish your family. So they're all a good option. Some are just better in other ways. Now, before we dive in, I want to share something important because not all grain mills work the same way. There's actually two different types in this category. In our other category, there'll be three. So in this category, we have stone mills that use a natural or a composite stone that gently crush the grain, just like people have done for thousands of years. The milling is typically cooler, gentler, and keeping more with how God designed the grain to be processed. Now, impact mills, they use a high-speed stainless steel head, and they spin at thousands of RPMs to pulverize the grain into flour almost instantly. They're faster, and they can handle high volume. And some are thoughtfully designed to try to keep the temperatures down as much as possible with the steel heads. Now, both of these options are going to produce beautiful, fresh flour. Both are massive upgrade from any flour you'll ever find at the grocery store. But they have different personalities, and I want you to understand that difference before you spend your money. Now, before I give you my recommended list, I want to mention one mill that you may have already seen on the internet, and it's called the Nutrimill Impact Mill. It is totally the most affordable of the ones we're going to discuss today, but I really want to give you an honest review because that's what I'm here for. The mill works. It produces flour. The parent company is excellent to work with. But here's what I want you to know before you spend your money. It has a significant amount of plastic components, handles, the canister, the hopper, the lid, the knobs, and they tend to break. And so if you're always ordering parts or it breaks on you when you're wanting to use it, it can really cause, just upset in the kitchen. And I don't want that for you. I believe in buying once and buying well. And for just a little bit more, you can upgrade that to either any of the other meals that I'm going to talk about today. So here is my list. Number 4 is the NutriMill Harvest. Typically, you're finding this one sold out, so I don't have it here on display, but it definitely is a good meal. And this one holds a special place in my heart because it's often the meal that gets families started on their whole grain journey. The NutriMill Harvest is beautiful. It has a warm retro design that just feels right at home on your kitchen counter. But more than how it looks, it delivers a genuine stone ground flour at a price that's accessible for many families to get started. Now, what I love about it, it does use the ceramic corundum stone, and that grinds the grains into flour. So you're getting a cool milling that actually preserves the nutrients that God put in the grain. The grind is somewhat adjustable between fine and coarse. The window is about like this, so it does give you some variability. It's relatively quiet, and it handles a wide variety of grains: wheat, spelt, kamut, oats, rice, and many more. Now, it does mill more slowly than the higher powered mills on this list, but for someone who's just beginning their whole grain journey, it's an absolutely wonderful starting point. It opens the door to freshly milled flour for families who are not yet ready for a larger investment. So it's never a bad option to buy. It has many good variabilities that make it a good step. Number 3 on the list is the NutriMill Classic. This is the mill that I started this journey with. It was the main one available at the time. And this one surprises a lot of people because it works completely different from the other mills that are on this list. The Classic is a high-speed impact mill, which I already talked to you about. Instead of the stone burrs, it uses stainless steel milling, and it spins at an extremely high speed to produce flour almost instantly. And it does this remarkably well. This machine will last you decades. Here's what makes this Classic stand out. It's powered by a very strong horsepower motor, and it can mill up to 20 cups of flour at a time. So if you're baking for a large family, or if you like to do batch milling or store your flour for the week, the Classic is in a category of its own just because of the speed and the volume. Now, one thing I really appreciate, and this matters to those of us who care deeply about nutrients, the NutriMill has engineered the Classic to keep the flour temperatures as close to or below 118 degrees. That's not the same as the stone milling, but it definitely is better than anything you're going to get at the store. Now, I do want to be transparent. The Classic is not designed for oily grains, things like flaxseed. It's great with dry, but it's not good with any oily or any spices, things like that. It's strictly just grains. For the price, the power and the volume capacity it delivers is pretty impressive. The best choice for high-volume home bakers who want speed, capacity, and reliable flour at an approachable price, then that would be the Classic. Number 2 in this category is the Como. And if you value beauty in your kitchen alongside exceptional quality, this mill will absolutely make your heart happy. Now, Como mills are German engineered. They're housed in solid, beautifully finished beech wood. And they're remarkably quiet. Now, I use that word like in quotes almost because anyone who's milled grain knows quiet is a relative term. If you mill early in the morning before your family's awake, you truly will appreciate just how quiet the Como is. Now, what stands out is it uses same ceramic corundum stones for durability, one of the quietest grain mills on the market, and exceptional build quality. So this is a mill you will pass on to your children. It grinds beautifully, fine flour for any kind of baking. Now, it comes in different price points, though, from entry level to upper level. So for someone who just wants a quiet, beautiful heirloom quality mill that's going to serve their family for decades, it definitely can earn that place. So the verdict on this one is best craftsmanship in this category: quiet, beautiful, built to last for a lifetime. Number 1 in this category is going to be the Mock Mill. I totally upgraded from the Classic to the Mock Mill. This is a great mill. It's German engineered by Wolfgang Mock, one of the most respected names in home grain milling. Now, here's where I want to stop and help you be very specific about this decision. Mock Mill makes 2 versions that are perfect for home bakers: Mock Mill 100 and the Mock Mill 200. Same company, same German engineering, same ceramic corundum stone, which is a composite, same housing, same hopper size, same ease of use. Both handle a wide variety of grains, hard, soft grains, spices, such a wide variety that you can do in these mills that you can't do in the others. It just makes everything so much better. You can throw a cinnamon stick in here and mill it, and that's fun. Now, as I shared in a previous video about the mock mills, you can do so much with these. Even legumes, beans, you can remill flour. The variety of the textures are way above the others. Where I said these are more like this, these variables are like this. I mean, so you have a great variable range between fine and coarse. Now with mock mill, all 5 varieties that they sell, there's a wide range from the powdery fine flour to the coarse cracked wheat. Now, here's where they differ. The mock mill 100 is going to mill at 100 grams per minute. It's fairly good, not as fast as the classic, but it's fast enough for me. It's capable of for just that home baking needs. So if you're making a loaf or 2 a week for your family or even every day, it's perfect for that. The mock mill 200 is 200 grams per minute. It's exactly twice as fast. So for just a few dollars more, you're cutting your milling time in half and you can mill longer. And so which one's right for you? Well, here's how I think about it. If you're going to be a casual, moderate baker, a loaf or 2 a week, yeah, mock mill 100, even more than 1 or 2 a week, is everything you need beautifully. I've been using one for years. But if you're a frequent baker and you're like, I got a large family, I'm doing quite a lot with this, then you're going to want to upgrade to the 200. Now, I'm guessing most of you are going to want to bake more often than just 1 or 2 loaves a week, so I would definitely invest in the 200 versus the 100. The speed difference is real, and you're going to feel it every single time you mill. For home bakers, I'd recommend the 200, but if you're budget conscious, then I would recommend the 100. Both are excellent quality. So the verdict, number 1 choice for most home bakers is going to be the German engineered stone ground flour at a price that makes sense. The 200 is a sweet spot, but the 100 will never disappoint anyone. This category is best overall grain mills. Now in this category, we're talking about craftsmanship, natural stone quality, longevity, and the kind of flour that is simply in a class of its own. These are mills for people who believe, as I do, that God designed the grain that for something worth honoring and in the most complete way possible. So we're going to begin on the first step of a ladder, and we will end at the pinnacle, the very best grain mill in the world. Totally. Now, all of these grain mills that I'm reviewing, I have actually purchased. They were not given to me at all for me to give someone a good review. So you're getting my honest opinion. First is mock mill 200. And so this is the first step on our ladder, and this is where most people cross over from casual baker to a serious home miller. Now, we've already learned in other videos how the mock mill 200 is a good mill for the category. It earns its place because it's genuinely an entry point into what I would call serious home grain milling. German engineered by Wolfgang Mock, 200 grams per minute, so we have a very quick milling, ceramic corundum stone that produces a beautifully fine flour. You've got a 6-year warranty for everyday home baking, sourdough, sandwich bread, and pastries, muffins. Oh, it totally delivers. Now, I want you to notice something about the housing. The mock mill 200 is housed in an Arbo blend, which is an eco-friendly modified plastic material. And I want to be transparent about that because it is thoughtfully made. Mock mill cares about what they build, but it still has a grade of plastic. So as we climb this ladder, watch what happens to that. Step number 2 would be the mock mill lino. Same heart, just a more beautiful home. So this is where the mill starts to look and feel like the way it should. Now the lino carries the exact same heart of the mock mill 200. Same ceramic corundum stone, same milling speeds, same versatility. You have wide range between ultra fine and super coarse, wide range, more so than you'll get in any of the Nutrimills. But the housing, solid, beautiful birchwood is the lino. And I want you to feel that difference. You're not just placing plastic on your counter anymore, you're placing wood, something God actually made, something that breathes and ages and becomes more beautiful with time. Now, what also changes in the Lino is the warranty. The Mockmill 200 carries a generous 6-year warranty. The Lino carries a 12-year warranty. Now, Mockmill themselves are telling you, hey, this mill is built to last twice as long. This is not a small thing. I haven't had any mills have trouble with any of them, but still I like to know what the warranty is. Now, the Lino is available both in the 100 grams per minute or the 200 grams per minute speed. I recommend the 200 for most bakers. And if you're going to invest in a wooden mill, invest in the speed too. Now, we just climbed up one step. The plastic became wood. Keep notice of that. The verdict of that, the same trusted Mockmill performance now in a home worthy of your kitchen and your values. Step number 3 is where Mockmill puts everything they have into one machine. The Mockmill Professional 200, this is a statement piece. The professional mills at the same 200 grams per minute, same burrs, same precision, but everything around that milling mechanism is elevated. The housing moves from wood alone to a solid mineral surface material, no plastic anywhere. The construction is noticeably heavier and more solid. Now, and this mill is rated for light commercial use, which tells you everything about how it is built. It is built to be durable and very long lasting. The warranty is 12 years for home use. Now, with the commercial grade construction, this mill was built not just for your kitchen, but potentially for your children's kitchen too. So you know you're buying durability and an heirloom. Now, this is the mill for a baker who has decided, you know what, I'm really going to do this. I'm committed. You want to own a machine that will outlast everything. It's not an impulse purchase by any means, but it is an investment in a way of life. We climbed another step. The plastic is gone. What remains is wood, mineral, and metal. So the verdict of the professional Mockmill, the finest mill that Mockmill makes, no plastic, built for decades, for the baker who's all in. Now we come to the pinnacle, and I'm so excited to share this with you because some of you challenged me to find a better mill, and so I did. Now we reach the top of the ladder. So I want you to notice what we have left behind as we've climbed. We've left behind plastic, we've left behind synthetic composites, and we left behind man-made material. So what remains? Stone, wood, and metal, the elements God actually placed in this earth. So that brings us to the Salzburger natural granite stone mill, handmade in Austria. Not assembled, it's actually handmade. And this is by craftsmen who actually have been doing this for generations. And it is without a question the finest grain mill in the world. Here's what makes the Salzburger in a category by itself. Natural granite stones, no ceramic, no corundum composite, no synthetic, natural granite that is actually shaped by hand. Pulled from the earth exactly as God created, shaped and dressed by hand into milling stones. No plastic anywhere. Not in the housing, not in the mechanics, not a single component in this mill is plastic. All right, so what does that mean for your flour? We went from starting to mill to exceptional quality flour. Now we're going from exceptional quality to the best quality ever. And it mills cool because granite conducts and releases heat differently than synthetic material. Your oils stay intact. Your vitamins stay intact. The life God put into that grain stays intact. It produces flavor that's simply in a different class. Richer, deeper, more aromatic. Old world bread, the kind that you smell before you taste it, begins with flour made in this mill. It carries a lifetime stone guarantee because natural granite doesn't wear out. Man-made stones do. Natural stone, no, that's God's material. It was here before us, and it will outlast any of us and anything we build with it. So the stone has a lifetime rapture-proof warranty. Now, I want to be honest with you. The Salzburger is expensive. It is heavy. Just for me to lift this up, it has a high-powered motor. If you're baking once a week for a small family, it may be more than you really need right now. It's perfectly all right. I did not receive this for free, and I purchased this to give you an honest review. But if you are a purist, if you are a traditionalist, if you believe, like truly believe that what touches your food matters, I feel like I'm preaching to you, then the materials that we bring into our kitchens are maybe an expression of what we value. And that's God's design is always superior to man's imitation. All right, then that makes sense, right? The Salzburger is not just the best grain mill for 2026 or 2027. It is the best grain mill in the world. No other mill is going to have everything on it that this list has. No matter how beautifully engineered, they can all make the claim. So the Pinnacle, the handmade in Austria, natural granite stones, no plastic anywhere in this machine. This is God's design honored in every possible way. All right, let me bring it together for you. The best mills for everyday home bakers, Nutrimill Impact Mill. I mentioned it, but it's really not recommended just because it's way too much plastic and too many replacement headaches. Number 4, the Nutrimill Harvest. The best budget, has good variability. It's a stone processed mill. Beautiful, great starting point. Number 3, Nutrimill Classic. Best high-speed impact mill, high-volume baking. It will work and last a long time. Number 2 is the Como. The Como Medium, pretty much the quieter of many of the others. Best craftsmanship for everyday home use. Number 1 was the Mock Mill. The overall value, the 100 is for, yes, I'm going to be milling 2 or 3 times a week. The Mock Mill 200 if you're going to do more often or longer periods of milling. Best overall grain mills, climbing the ladder. Remember, step 1 was the Mock Mill 200. Serious home baking begins here. A little bit of plastic housing, but exceptional performance. Mock Mill Lino, same great mill, but wood housing. 12-year warranty. Plastic became wood. Step number 3, Mock Mill Professional, wood and mineral base, commercial grade, no plastic anywhere. The Pinnacle, the Salzburger natural granite stone, best grain mill in the world, handmade natural granite, no plastic at all. Totally like the beautiful pinnacle of what every mill should be looking for. So I have links to every single mill that I mentioned down below in the description. I've done the research so you don't have to. Plus, there's also links on where to buy grain, how to store grain, and what gifts we have for any of our mill purchasers. You might want to check that out too. So when you purchase a mill through any of our links, you actually tell us that you want to bless this ministry so we can continue sharing God's recipe for excellent health in churches just like yours. And if you'd like me to come and visit your church, please check out our page down below. Now, my favorite bread baking cookbook for all of these meals is always going to be Satisfied Baking with Whole Grain Goodness. Check out the link below. Oh, my favorite recipes for my holidays, everyday baking, breakfast, lunch, dinner, every holiday, it's all in there. Now, if you're wondering where to start baking, start with prayer. Ask God to guide you towards the foods and the tools that will honor your body and the budget that He has given you to work with. And then start wherever you are. Even the most modest meal on my recommended list is going to bring you closer to eating grain the way He designed it, whole, fresh, and full of life that He put there. Now, if you want to keep learning about whole grains and sourdough and how to nourish your family God's way, check out my other videos right here on the channel. I hope you're already subscribed to this YouTube channel. Plus, if you've gone to my website, free7steps.com. Those are the steps I start every one of my clients with on how to start your healing journey. Thank you for watching this and being part of the Biblical Nutritionist family. Together, we get to share God's recipe for excellent health, and you are the reason I'm here. I'll see you on the next video. If you haven't already checked out my book, Satisfied Baking with Whole Grain Goodness, this is a book that is definitely a perfect gift for anyone who's getting started freshly milling grain. And it includes not only some of the teaching in the beginning about the value of real grain and how God created it, but it has some of my very favorite recipes for holidays, for every day. So many delicious recipes that I know your family's going to love. So yes, it does have the basic bread recipe, but it has many more recipes so you can extend your idea of baking with a lot of good recipes. Please check out Satisfied Baking with Whole Grain Goodness.